what would you say the typical, Anish, this is for you, what would you say the typical timeline for a construction property is? Or obviously it depends on the size, but from the times they get the permits, how long are these people typically taking? I would imagine it also varies on the contractor. Are they looking at about a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years?
Yeah, again, going back to, there's the rule and exception. So I think the median, the majority of homes, you probably are running between 12 to 18 months. You definitely have others that go way, way, way beyond that, especially bigger estates. But I would say when someone comes to me and thinks it's going to be less than a year, I kind of giggle a little bit, because I'm just like, you're being sold something that's just probably not true. Everyone, that's the biggest kind of issue that I've seen in construction loans, is that too many people believe the gospel that maybe the contractor architect will tell you. And it's the one thing that I've always seen in construction loans. It's always over budget, and it's always longer than you anticipate. So I tell everyone, make sure you understand that if they tell you 12, add an extra 3-4 months to that. And it might be even longer than that. I have people now that are telling me, oh my God, it's taking me 6 extra months than what I anticipated. And it's just, I've never heard someone come in before, it's like if they said it's going to be a year, they did in 8 months. I've never, sent you to a construction.
Yeah, so that's been my experience as well too, Anish, that at least when dealing with city contractors, architects, it typically takes longer than expected.
Mm-hmm.
And people are overly optimistic, like, hey, look, I'm going to buy this today. So what I hear you saying is typically you're probably, if you're going to get involved in something like this, you should probably expect a minimum of a 2 to 3 year process from start to finish. Obviously, we can't give timelines, and maybe even more. So just imagine 2021, you're probably looking at 2023 to 2024 to have the house actually completed. What I was going to ask you is, in regards to the payments during the construction loan, do the payments begin immediately on the construction loan, or do those ever get postponed for a period of a year or 2 years? How does that typically work?
So technically, yes, you just like any other mortgage, you owe it every single month. During the course of construction, it'll be interest only. And then after the house is completed, it converts automatically to principal and interest. Okay. Where that could change, and maybe what you're maybe alluding to, is that if there's what we call enough loan to value, or total cost of project, is you have enough equity in the lot, because sometimes people own lots for 5 or 10 years and then the values just massively increase over that time period. If there's enough equity in your project, then we have we have an option called interest reserve account. So we'll anticipate how much interest you will accumulate during the course of construction. And there'll be a fund that we build in there where the payments are taken out of there. So in essence, you're borrowing the money to borrow for the mortgage, but you just have to have enough equity in the property.
That makes sense. So somebody either got a really good deal on a piece of land, or has just owned it and the marketplace is appreciating.
Well,